Hello everybody, how you all doing? Alright, let's quickly talk about what just happened overnight. So the US finally went ahead and attacked the Iran's nuclear targets, and the result has been that our markets have nuked, because obviously that's what's going to happen when the war starts. But these sort of things have generally been buy the dip opportunities, but let's just quickly talk about why this happened, how it was actually quite predictable, and what to do now to make money out of this whole situation. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a quick summary of Trump's actions against Iran. And there were three things that really stood out to me personally. And that is the fact that initially Trump had pulled out of their nuclear program. So that was the first major thing Trump did. The second major thing Trump did was in 2020, he ordered a strike to assassinate the IRGC force commander Qasem Soleimani, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, in Baghdad, in Iraq of all places. So that was the second major thing he did. And then obviously he left office between 21 and 24. But then as soon as he came back, things kind of went back to the old playbook. And obviously the Israelis, this was kind of perfect time for Israelis to execute this, because they had taken out most of Iran's proxies and they had Trump back in office, and it was time to continue with the program. Now, say what you want to say about the politics, the situation of the area, it's a long and complicated history. They all hate each other's guts, I would say with good reason. But the situation is, if you're going to make a nuclear bomb, you're going to get attacked. It's as simple as that. Iran went ahead and, they came, one step before having the nuclear grade uranium. That was a bad decision on their part, so I would say they chose poorly. They should have really seen this coming, but they decided to go ahead with it anyway. Just like Hamas's decision to attack Israel on October 7th, 2023 was literally the worst thing they could have ever possibly done. I mean, I understand Israel is torn in everybody's side there in the Middle East, but I mean, what else could they expected other than total annihilation? So I don't really want to get into the politics of the whole situation here. I just want to tell you guys that this was kind of predictable given the history of the region, all that, and the current situation. But anyway, how do we make money out of this particular situation is we are going to look at Ethereum, because I think Ethereum is repeating a very interesting pattern that I've seen in Bitcoin back when it's made its bottom in 2022, I believe it was. Gosh, we're going way back now. So we had this little ascending triangle here, which looked like a bullish structure, but it actually failed initially here, then re-attempted and then failed again. And then obviously with the strikes and the whole Iranian situation, we kind of lost this support here as well, which is kind of bad. I was hoping we wouldn't lose this support. But on the other hand, we need to realize, guys, it is summertime, and generally, the saying, sell in May and go away. Well, in crypto, that pretty much has always been the case. And I've been advocating that there's not much going to happen over the summer other than probably we're going to chop our way through the summer, which means a little bit up, a little bit down, and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't expect much to happen in terms of price action over the summer anyway. I knew the time was wrong for this to go up. Let me show you what I expected based on what Bitcoin did back in 2022. So let's go ahead and switch over to Bitcoin USD chart, and let's go over back to 2022 when Bitcoin made its bottom. So let's analyze this pattern that we saw on Bitcoin when it bottomed. So see what happened here. We had a capitulation, we had consolidation, and then we climbed out. Very quickly we can left everything behind. Okay, so this was the bottom. So I do believe this has happened on Ether at around 1500, and we have climbed out very beautifully in the same way that we have here, and we've kind of maintained our price level there for quite a while. Unfortunately, the same way as we had this uptrend here, we broke down to the downside, and that's what I was expecting with Ethereum as well. Something was going to cause it. Iran thing came up. It was a perfect time to just drop it. Okay, so because you need to shake out everybody, both bulls and bears, before you can actually then go for a more longer term uptrend. So this has already happened now on Ethereum, so we can expect a bit of a bounce, and then possibly throughout summer we're gonna trend down. I don't expect this sort of a extreme downtrend, to be honest. I do expect the unexpected, so it's going to chop up and down. But what I want to analyze now is in terms of what's going to happen during the summer of 2025 with Ethereum. I expect something similar to what happened to Bitcoin back in the summer of 2023. As you can see, we had a bit of a price action. Now we're going to ignore this bit here. Okay, so we're going to take it from here. So June 24th, now is June 22nd. So this is June 22nd of 2023. So this is what I expect for the rest of the summer. So just sort of a chop consolidation kind of pattern. Okay, so now we dropped, and now we expect that we're going to forget everything here in between, and we go to this price action. So just slow chop, possibly downward, because it just wants to get rid of all the bulls. Maybe we see another one of these events, but I kind of doubt it, because we kind of already had it here. But I don't expect any sort of positive price action until late August, early September. Okay, and then I hope to God we finally see another leg up. Okay, so late August, early September, that's when we expect to see the next leg up, and then summer is your opportunity to accumulate at lower prices of Ethereum, and then we're going to make our money in in autumn and winter 2025 when this whole thing is behind us. And let's not forget, America generally having Trump in office is a good thing because he is pro-crypto, and there's going to be some pro-crypto legislation passed during the summer, possibly end of August, possibly early September. So I do believe that's going to be the catalyst for positive price action towards the end of the year. So don't get freaked out. We've seen this movie before. It's exactly the same what happened with Bitcoin when it bottomed. They're playing this exact same game now with Ethereum, because you guys know Ethereum was born, I think, in 2015 and Bitcoin was born in 2009, but I mean, it didn't really do much. The world didn't really know about it until about 2011 to 2013 was kind of its first sort of proper bull market. So Ethereum kind of lags one cycle behind Bitcoin, and this is perfectly aligning with that thesis. So don't be afraid, guys. This is an opportunity to accumulate Ethereum at really great prices, because I do expect to go at least back to 5,000 eventually at some stage, but hopefully we'll see 10 to 12,000 by the end of the year. It might seem unlikely right now, but that's how these things go. Okay, don't let your emotions direct your trading. Use patterns, use logic, and use analysis, both fundamental, technical, and obviously geopolitical, because these sort of things are opportunities, buy the dip opportunities. Don't let them get away from you. Stay course and you will make money. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this analysis, please drop a like, drop a sub if you want to see my next video, and I will see you again in the next one.